Well,
Right.
this is a real joy to jump in with you, Eric, and talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
man.
the subject matter that you've written about on this blog. Thanks for joining me and just doing this today. And I hope that this
Yeah,
segment
man.
in this blog will be even another like bonus for people
Yeah.
who are struggling with porn and want to get out of it. And that's the whole idea.
Yeah, man.
Writing this blog is
Yeah.
like, hey, there is freedom, there is hope. You don't have to be stuck
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
So anyway, talk to me just a little bit. We were talking before we actually started this interview just about this idea of guilt, shame, and this idea that I literally can't get away from this.
Yeah, man. Thanks for inviting me to do this, man.
You're
I'm super
welcome.
excited. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's like the enemy's biggest, like one of his main goals is to get us trapped in that idea of there's just no way out, there's no hope in this struggle, that there's no way I can quit doing this. I've tried so many times. There's just no hope. And like I said, that's the enemy's main goal. And that was my feeling also. Whenever I was just trapped in the middle of this thing, I was just like, there's no way I can quit. There's no way. I've tried everything. I've tried, kept trying harder. And, I just don't know what to do. And honestly, you know what? I just didn't really have the right game plan. And there were just some other things going on in my life that I needed to deal with in order to find some freedom and begin to walk in freedom in that area. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And we're not just talking to men, right, Eric?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me just a little bit in your journey of trying to help people through this. Like we've got some stats listed in the blog as well, but
Yeah.
what have you seen? What's the research telling you of people who are struggling with this?
Yeah. You know what? So it's honestly, starts at 11 years old is like the average age of, exposure to pornography, which as a parent, it's super scary.
Right.
And, but then I look back and I was 11 years old whenever I was first exposed. It's totally, true. And then I think that stat is maybe even like 2 years old. So not 2 years old as like but the stat is 2 years old. So it could even be younger now.
Right.
So yeah, man, it's a scary, scary statistic. And then also it's not just a struggle for men, it's a struggle for women also. I believe it's 25% of women also struggle. And I think that statistic continues to rise all the time.
Right.
And it's a struggle for women too, not just men.
Right.
So
now in your story, we got a little clip of that story in the blog, and I appreciate your vulnerability and being able to share.
Yeah.
And I really sense that. Well, one of the reasons we wanted to put this together, this is on your heart. Like this is something you want to help people through. We're at the end of this interview with you. We're going to have some resources available. Some of those resources are at the bottom of this blog too. But we wanted to be able to have you personally just mention some of those things. So we know this is dear to your heart. You've been through it. You've been vulnerable. You've shared a little bit of that story.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's even bigger than just you. Like you were married and you had kids, and like this is a part of that story and that journey too. Eric, tell me a little bit about what that was like getting to the point that you were going to have this conversation with Siobhan, your wife.
Yeah. So you know what? I always thought that, pornography would not be an issue after I got married. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to be married. I won't need to look at this anymore. There's, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Well, and I've heard that too. Like that's something that I hear regularly. It's like, oh, if this happens, then I'll stop doing that.
Yeah. And that's what I thought. I literally thought like, oh, once I get married, it'll be fine. And you know what? I think I did go, a couple of months without looking at anything. And I was like, oh man, it's great, but then it began to creep back in, and it actually just began to get even stronger and stronger. And that's when I really realized the effects that pornography was really having on my mind, because it was skewing the view I had of my wife. I began to compare her to the women on the screen. Intimacy with my wife was different. And I would even imagine some women on the screen during that. And that began to just really scare me. And I realized, man, this is bad. And it's just going down a path that, if I don't get help, that this is going to not end well. So I me and some buddies encountered this purity conference at a church, a local church, when we were living in Illinois, and they were showing the Conquer series. And they did it, usually the Conquer series is like an 8-week course, but they did it like all in one day. So it's like an all-day thing. We just like went through all the DVDs and had breakout sessions in between. It was super, super powerful. And we were equipped after that conference on how to, to battle this. But one of the things that we needed to do was to our wife about it. So that was not an easy conversation because she was not aware of the struggles that I've had for, at that time it was, probably 10, 12 years, and a really long time, and she wasn't aware of that. So whenever I told her, it was heartbreaking for her. And of course her reaction was, that I was cheating on her. And that's really what it is, it's really, she was right. And that was extremely, extremely hard. But also, very motivating for me. And but yeah, man, just coming out of that conference, man, I was just, really encouraged. The Lord really encouraged me and some guys, and really helped us to realize that, with the help of God, that we can find freedom in this, and we have the power to find freedom because of the Holy Spirit. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's cool to hear your story, that you took some of the principles that were given to you during that conference, you actually applied them. Was that a turning point for you?
Do what? I'm sorry.
Was that the turning point for you when you decided, okay, I'm going to put feet to my thoughts and the actions, and let's just see how this thing plays out? Were you expecting things to just like get incredibly difficult, or did you have a sense that, hey, we can do this if I'm obedient, if I'm following Jesus, like there is a way to get on the other side of this?
Yeah, you know what? I was actually the most encouraged that I had been after that, just because I felt like I was finally moving forward. I felt like I finally had some resources, some different, like a game plan that I could actually look at on paper and realize, like, all right, these are some things that I can practically do to help me begin to walk in freedom. And super encouraging, man. And one of the main things that I realized, and one of the main things that most people don't realize, and I never did, but most of the time there's a wounding in our heart that we need to deal with. And a lot of times we're medicating that wound in our life with pornography. Maybe that's even, it could be drugs, alcohol, whatever, but a lot of times it's pornography. That high that you're getting from that, from watching that on the screen, a lot of times we'll use that to just kind of medicate the pain in our life. So one of the main things I needed to do was realize a wounding in my life that I needed to bring to God and allow him to heal that. And that was a big step in beginning to walk in freedom from pornography.
Yeah. So if, people that are reading the blog, I mean, we have 3 things down at the bottom to be thinking about, 3 steps to walking in freedom, to getting this out of our lives once and for all. Now I recognize those are beginning steps. This is not a one and done. Application steps that you have. How was that for you? What were some of the things that you were applying to your life for the long-term journey? Not just you came from the Purity Conference, you had this conversation, but that was just the beginning. What were some of the things that you found, Eric, in your life that this put you on a trajectory of continual freedom?
One of the main things I think like that's super important is just accountability in your life.
Okay.
That was something that I realized just for, that we need other people in our corner. We also need other people that are that aren't afraid to step on our toes in a loving way, and they're willing to ask us the difficult questions because they love us. And so you know what, I'm still in an accountability relationship, and I plan to be for the rest of my life, even if pornography isn't a struggle anymore. I still want guys asking me, is that a struggle? Are there things in your life that seem like could be leading you back to that, because once we find freedom from pornography, like, lustful thoughts are still a thing that, it's something that for men, we constantly have to be on our guard, I feel like. So, so yeah, man, an accountability relationship was just something that, man, was a big eye opener for me during that conference. I realized, man, I need to be in this. I need to have some other guys in my life that can,
I mean, there's something to be said just about mentorship in and of itself, right? And you know, here at Youth with a Mission, you and I both are volunteers as missionaries with Youth with a Mission. We try to build in that discipleship, one-on-one discipleship in everything that we do in our workplace. I mean, it's a pretty incredible environment to work in. You're at New Orleans right now, and so you're with your team there. Y'all are exercising that out in a daily way. So those are the people that are not, you know, in an environment where this is like a part of what we do. Man, they got to go get a discipled person in your life to disciple you. Get a mentor. And somebody that you trust, that you can talk to, that'll ask those questions. Man, I love that. I think it's so important. If we don't have that in our lives, we've got to go get that done.
Exactly. Yes, for sure, man. Definitely don't be afraid to ask someone in your church, in your youth group, wherever, even someone that's older than you, someone that you might look up to and, you know, realize has like a real close walk with God. Don't be afraid to ask them if they mentor you or meet with you weekly or talk over the phone with you or whatever. Man, I think that's totally biblical.
Let me jump in. How important is it to have someone that's discipling you and mentoring you that's free from this addiction of pornography? Or is it, I mean, is that even a possibility? How important is that?
No, that's super important. You know, I think that so for me and my guys, when we first started, when we're in Illinois, all three of us struggled with it. And so we were all trying to figure this thing out, you know. We're like, we've all tried harder and just continued to fail consistently. And so, you know, for us, it would have been really nice to have someone that had, you know, walked in freedom from this and realized, hey, you know, this is possible and stuff, but we didn't have that. But yeah, man, if you can find someone that has, you know, is openly, you know, fought this battle before and found freedom, man, like totally seek out that person. And a lot of times, you know, that person is probably about, you know, leading men in that area because they've, you know, it's just one of those things, man. Once, you know, those chains are broken, man, you just want to be able to help everyone that struggles with it find that same freedom because, man, the grass is so much greener. It's great.
That's awesome.
I'm truly experiencing like what God intended marriage to be like. And it's awesome.
I love that. So Eric, you and your wife came and you did a discipleship training school with us in 2019. That's correct. Okay. 2020.
2019.
We won't even talk about 2020. We're not sure what that.
Exactly. Don't even mention it.
But in 2019,
we're just going to cancel that out.
Right. In 2018, and you had a good experience, and there's some things that the Lord really showed you about the discipleship program and how this could actually be a stepping stone to head in that direction of freedom from pornography. I mean, we're not a rehabilitation program per se. Our goal is to help people know God, like really know him, hear from him, know the power of his spirit living in their lives and all of that kind of stuff. And but what you the blog and what I'm kind of picking up is that aspect is sort of like your ground level to begin the journey. If we don't know who God is, how do we even go further? Talk to me a little bit about the discipleship school and how this can really help guys, girls, everybody really in this area, but even just beyond this issue.
Yeah, man, for sure. So if you're thinking about doing a discipleship training school, let me tell you, like, it is life-changing. It really is, man. Like, my wife and I, our two kids, we picked up our whole life in Illinois and moved down to Texas to do this school. And oh my gosh, it changed our marriage, our family, our, you know, the way we parented. It was just unbelievable. And one thing I really realized during the school was there was a lot of the same principles that this Conquer series taught the, you know, my friends and I, when we were going through this struggle. Tyler, you know, in the DTS already implements those things like accountability, hearing from God, and just walking, and then also that inner healing aspect of identifying those hurts in our life and allowing the Lord to heal those and to speak truth to those. Man, it was just super encouraging. And yeah, so if you're thinking about doing a DTS, man, I totally recommend it. And I totally believe that your walk with the Lord will grow just so much. So yeah, DTS all the way, man.
All the way. So from your time in the training school to where you guys are at now, and even in the future, Eric, you and I were just chatting the other day on Messenger about like even this blog and this conversation between you and I, like this is not the end of this conversation. We would love to see this ramp up and scale and reach men and women, boys and girls, really all over the planet if that's available to help them. So there's we've included some resources here. Eric, specifically, we got your email. It's going in this blog. And what do you want to say to people that are watching this? They're at this point in the video and they're thinking, do I send Eric an email or not? What would you want to say to that person that's on the fence right now?
I'd say you better send me an email. No. So I want to hear from you, man. If you need someone to talk to, please email me. Please send your story. I want to hear it. I want to share my story with you. I want to be able to, even if I can, personalize a game plan for just specifically you. So whatever I can do to be a resource to you, that's what I want to be. So I'm totally available. And then I've also got some other resources that I totally believe are great articles, some books that you can look at, even some videos, like a 6-part series video that talks about the same struggle, and some awesome, actually has like a game plan already built into that you can use. Man, totally check out those resources.
Yeah,
totally check them out.
When we were talking, you were like, "Hey, I'll give you a personalized game plan." I'm like, "For real, Eric? Like, you're really gonna do that? Like, that's so cool."
Yeah,
I appreciate you being willing to help people just kind of walk that out, get their thoughts together. And I love the whole part of this is that it's let's get the shame out of the way. Let's just call this thing what it is. It's a struggle.
Exactly.
It's just a terrible habit. And who wants that? Like, nobody wants that. So
exactly.
Let's just get on the other side of it. What are the
steps? Got to bring it to light.
Yeah. And I know that it's got a big this oh man, I don't even know what the word is. When you hear, the pastor who's looking at porn and he got caught, it's like this big taboo or whatever, but the percentages are ridiculous. We just need to just say, hey, more than likely this has been a problem. Okay, you're loved. Help you, and I appreciate that about your whole spirit about this.
Thanks, man. Dude.
No,
thanks,
absolutely.
man. I appreciate that.
Well,
man, we got to get this thing to light for sure, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, exactly what you said. Like, it's been in the dark way too long, and man, I just really believe that we're going to see revival in the church whenever men begin to rise up. And I think that men can't rise up in the church if the enemy has a hold on them in this area. Man, because I remember the feeling I had, as a believer. Man, I felt like I had no authority in my my walk with the Lord, because I just felt like I wasn't worthy to do to walk with men or whatever, because of this struggle I had, man. And I'm just like, man, once I began to walk in freedom in this area, man, it was just like, gosh, it was so freeing. So
I love it.
So yeah, man, I think we got to bring it to light. That's the first step, man. We got to tell someone. We got to share. So
that's so good. That's so good. Well, I hope everybody watching this will take Eric up on his offer. Shoot him an email. Just see where that goes. And as much help and support that we here at YWAM-Tyler, YWAM New Orleans can offer people, we're here to do that. If you're watching this and you're on the fence about doing a DTS, you're not really sure. DTS is for everybody. Everybody needs to. I love to say this. Everybody needs discipleship. Sharing the gospel is not complicated, and saying yes to Jesus is the best way to find your purpose. Right.
That's right.
those
That's
three
right.
elements is like, it encompasses all that we do here. So if you're on the fence about a discipleship school, carve out those 5-6 months,
Yep.
get to know God. Will help you.
Yep.
Tools to make him known. It's not complicated. Even what we're
That's
doing
right.
today, Eric, is a
Yep.
part of that
That's
journey,
right.
making God known,
Yep.
glorifying him.
That's right.
Letting people know that if we put our eyes on him, even the addiction of
Yeah.
porn can be overcome.
That's right.
Thanks, man,
That's
for
right.
doing this today.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's been awesome.
You got any last parting words? Anything that's like you want to make sure everybody gets this, or you feel like we've kind of tackled enough of it?
I think we tackled everything, man. I just want to really push home, like, hey, like if you're thinking about doing a DTS, like a lot of the thoughts that I had in my head right before going to DTS was like, oh, I don't have the money for this, or I don't have the time, or I can't leave work for this long, or whatever. But let me tell you, like, if God is saying go, like, listen to him, man, because like I had all those thoughts in my head, like, and I think everyone probably does at first because it's just a big step. But man, it was life changing. It was literally life changing. And I mean, I think anyone can take 5 months of their life and do this. And gosh, man, just it's so impactful. So totally recommend it. Go for it. Don't say no, say go.
I love it. I love it. Well, dude, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you.